Okay, good morning, everyone. We'll get things underway. I think everyone's now joined us. So welcome on this cold morning to the next in the series of I Need One of Those. This is a series of webinars that explores sort of vendors, technologies, trends to watch in the marketplace, things that we believe are going to shape IT. And the aim of the series is to educate you, our customers, around new and innovative tools, technologies, things that we believe can deliver sort of business advantage and disruptive technology. So welcome, everyone. Hopefully, everyone who registered in time, you received your Kit Kats. So put your feet up, relax. This will take sort of 15, 20 minutes. We're using the Zoom platform today to deliver this webinar experience. So hopefully you'll enjoy the process today and sit back and relax. So we're joined today by HP, and the purpose today is to talk about their device as a service. And I'm joined by Alan Saxton, who's the Channel Program Manager from HP. Morning, Alan.
Hey, good morning, Steve. Thank you.
How are you doing today? Thanks for joining us, taking the time out, Alan. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. It's happy to be here.
Thank you. So I'm just going to start the proceedings off, just a little bit of background on Servium. Hopefully most of you know us, but just to give a bit of insight on who we are, and then I'll hand over to Alan. So we're really there to provide essential IT, troubleshoot, walk in your shoes, and put you at the center of everything that you do, so that we can understand what your problems, what your challenges are. We believe we create a lot of value, and our customer satisfaction surveys demonstrate that. But I think our sort of key differentiate is our really strong account management. We have some great account managers in the business, and we offer exceptional service to our customers. That's sort of all backed by our services ecosystem, which is there again to add value to the hardware and software we sell. But our approach is very much understanding what your challenge is, working with you on the strategy, helping you with the design, implementation, support, and then also the ongoing review. And to us, the important part is reviewing everything that we do with our customers. But understanding that is absolutely key to us. So no matter how small or large your requirements, it's our role to understand that. As I mentioned, our ecosystem there is to underpin everything we do. So today we're very much focused on the workspace area of what we offer, and that's what I'm going to introduce now. Alan, who's going to talk a little bit about the HP device as a service, and then at the end we'll have questions and answers. At the end, so they'll be anonymous, and I'll pass them over to Alan as and when. And also, right at the end, we'll be doing a short poll just to get some feedback on today. So, Alan, the floor's yours. I'll hand over to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Steve, and thanks for everyone for attending today on this beautiful wintry day here in the UK. As Steve said, my name's Alan Saxton, and I look after our channel program for Device as a Service. And what I want to do is kind of just share with you what we're seeing from an industry perspective, and why we at HP and our partners feel that moving to this as a service model is important within the computing environment, and how that really ties into the whole desktop transformation process. So some of the challenges that we're seeing and talking with our customers is about, there's a few things. One, certainly device proliferation. And one of the challenges when you have multiple devices, even though they may be all Windows devices, or you might have a mixed environment, is the challenge of managing those. And some of the things that I look at are some of the customers we've met with that we're trying to manage. As an example, about 140 different Windows devices this particular client that we worked with had, and just trying to operationalize that many devices is certainly a challenge. And what we were able to do is, we were talking about as a service model, is getting them to identify a feature set of products and really minimize the number of devices they have within their environment. So we were able to go from 144 down to 10 different devices. And one of the things that we look at in this whole device proliferation is really starting to understand different personas within an environment. The other key things that we're seeing, from an employee point of view, is really about device satisfaction, having the right device for the type of work that's being done, locally. And as we start looking at how this changes from traditional procurement of hardware, is really all about device management. How do we manage these devices in a more effective and efficient way that gives greater insight to our customers so they have a better understanding of the health of the environment when incidences occur, how to mitigate risk, and how to make better choices moving forward. And I'll go into a little more detail about the device management. And then finally, or second to the last, is about aging devices, is understanding what's the appropriate life cycle for our customers, whether that's a 3-year life cycle, 4 or 5-year life cycle for their hardware devices. And that's really all about defining a solution that's right for you, right for your business, to ensure that products are updated, that your employees are efficient and effective, and should incident occur, that it's rectified very quickly. And finally, we probably can all attest to this, is all about the security. How do we ensure that our products are secure, that the data is secure and protected, especially with things like GDPR. We need to make sure that that information is, in a holistic manner, is secured. So what we're finding, and as we think about as a service model and some of the market trends, we probably have seen this in the past from a software point of view, as software as a service. If you think of the likes of Microsoft 365, Adobe, and others have really transformed their business away from selling traditional licensing to more of a subscription-based model. And that's very important, because that allows for all the software to be updated real time and continuing to add improvements and efficiencies to that model. Just as we've seen, with platform as a service, with the likes of cloud-based offerings, cloud-based solutions from Microsoft, or infrastructure as a service. If you think with the likes of Amazon Web Services as example, it is really moving more and more resources to this as a service model. And if you think about that from a desktop point of view, it's kind of the last piece of the puzzle that is starting to move into the as a service model. And what we're hearing when we're talking with the likes of Gartner and other market research firms is more and more customers are recognizing that the value of computing is all about the value of consuming that technology. And the consumption of that is more important than the ownership. And we're finding that some of the findings are stating that by 2020, 2021, about 40% of the market will have shifted to an as-a-service model, because it increases the efficiencies to our customers. It helps them manage a life cycle that's supported by their business, and it gives them greater insight into the cost of that solution down to the employee level based on their personas, et cetera. So they have much better clarity from a budgeting point of view on their IT spend and their IT consumption. And let's face it, from a consumer point of view, we've really moved into this subscription-based consumption model. And these are just a couple examples that come to mind, whether we consume Amazon, Netflix, Spotify. Car companies are really moving as well to this consumption model, right? Replace your vehicle every 2-3 years, where there's not it's not about the ownership of these things. It's really about the consuming the service, et cetera. So we're moving, as this says, it's all about the service, not the ownership generation, and we're seeing that expand into all facets of our lives, and that's also moving more and more within the consumption of technology, as I mentioned earlier. So the way we look at this and working with our partner Servium is really looking at how do we develop the appropriate life cycle for our customers. And this varies from customer to customer, but the way we look at it, if you look at the right-hand side, it is all about understanding, from a discovery and design perspective, what types of personas do you have within your environment? And the importance there is to ensure that we have the right device for the right type of user. Let's face it, not everybody needs an i5 or an i7 processor, depending on what type of work they're doing. You have people that are mobile, people that are desk-bound, et cetera. So we want to make sure we're providing the right type of devices. And as we follow this around clockwise, it's also about configuring these devices so when they arrive, they're ready to go, right? You have the right operating, well, the right software, the right configuration for your users, deployed in a way that's appropriate for your business, whether that deployment is to the desk or to the building. It really depends on what type of requirements you have. And we talked a little about the optimization, and what we use is a tool called HP TechPulse, which is our analytic software. And that allows us to, in discovery and design, identify what types of users you have based on the performance requirements that they need. So we can ensure that the right devices are there. And any time you move to as a service model, it really goes to ensuring that you have the appropriate uptime. If an incident occurs, that it's rectified, remedied immediately, as well as when we go through the life cycle, at the end of the life cycle, from a dispose and refresh perspective, is to ensure that the data on the old devices are cleaned, wiped, certified to protect your organization from a GDPR perspective, but also as we refresh into a new cycle, that we have the right devices again for you and your employees. On the left-hand side, the way we look at device as a service is really, understanding what devices are important, adding the analytics and proactive management, so that gives you the greater insight into the health of your environment, as well as ensuring that if an incident occurs, that it's remedied immediately. So we look at this in a couple different ways. And what I like about our Tech Pulse, as we call our management with insight, is it allows you, our customer, to make better choices going forward. And if an incident occurs with the software suite that we provide, it also gives you proactive notifications. And that really gives you the ability to remedy a situation probably before the user knows there's a problem. And I'll share with you a couple examples of what that looks like. So within our proactive management software, which we call HP TechPulse Analytics, it gives you greater insight. So this is an example of one of the reports that you can pull, and there's about 65 to 70 different reports. But what this highlights is things like CPU and memory utilization. So you have a better understanding, as I mentioned earlier, not only of identifying different personas, but also if somebody's overtaxing their device or underutilizing them, you have that snapshot in a real-time manner. The other thing that you can do within this is also, enforce the security protocols that you have. So you can have a snapshot if anybody's outside that boundary of security, that you can enforce the right policies. And finally, you can understand from a device performance is really understanding what's happening within the environment. You can understand, down to the device, when the warranty starts and stops, applications on the device, and you can go into quite detailed information. So you can once again provide one greater insight holistically to your environment, but also mitigate any risks that are occurring. And we've recently added another report on hardware replacement. So as you're looking at your environment, you can identify those devices that need to be replaced sooner rather than later, and once again, making better choice points along the way. And with that, what I would say is, from a device, as a service offering, what we look at from an HP point of view and with our partners is providing and solutioning an overall value to you based on your requirements, the service level agreements that are needed, to ensure that you have the right solution to manage and run your business in the most efficient way. And with that, Steve, I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Alan. So I'll open the floor now for any questions. I know that's sort of very high level, Alan, because it can be quite detailed, quite complex. But thanks for that. Just one question that's coming here from John. The devices that you talk about when you profile, do they all have to be HP? What if you need a mixed estate such as Apple?
Yeah, great question. And I can say with the solutions that we've done in the past, we've included Apple in our process as well. Because I'm a realist. I recognize, as much as I would like everything to be HP, we have customers that may have a preference for others, and we can absolutely include Apple in there. And our solution, our analytics and proactive management suite, supports Apple as well.
Okay. So in essence, you can, if you have a requirement for a mixed environment, then with HP DaaS, that's allowing you to do so. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good. Question from Andy about the payments and subscriptions. So are the payments monthly, or can I choose my own intervals?
Yeah, so we can do monthly and quarterly. And we can also have flexibility. So if you think of a life cycle, we can go anywhere from 12 to 60 months to ensure that you have the right life cycle for your users. And sometimes that'll vary, right? If you have mobile users, what we found is more of a 3-year life cycle. If you have desktop users, traditionally we're seeing a 4 or 5-year life cycle, and we can build that into the model.
A question from anonymous question here. Can you choose the frequency of the sort of refresh cycle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that we call out 12 months to 60 months, but you can even have variations within that.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's really working with we from an HP point of view, we work with HP Financial Services is our financial arm. However, if you have a financial arm that you work with, we can absolutely work with them as well.
Okay. Question from Paul about the Tech Pulse analytical tool. So, in a typical sort of journey that would take a customer on, would they use the analytical tool first before then going down the device as a service route to identify sort of profiles, usage, etc.?
Absolutely. And one of the things that we offer is a 90-day trial of Tech Pulse, and we can offer that up to 500 licenses per customer.
Okay.
And that kind of give you a real-time view of your environment, and also allowing us collectively to make sure that we provide the right type of solution based on your business.
Okay. Another question about existing kit. So obviously, I'm not assuming this is not a rip and replace, but customers are going to typically have an existing kit. Do you typically buy that kit back? What happens to an existing environment of install base?
Yeah, so what we do is we work with our financial arm, Hewlett-Packard or HP Financial Services, and they have what they call as an asset recovery team. So once we identify the types of devices, the pre-existing devices, they can absolutely come up with a value for those, as well as remove those from the environment, in an appropriate way. Back to the being GDPR compliant on any data wipes, et cetera.
Yes, so following all the relevant sort of WE regulations and so on.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Okay. question from Michael. The Tech Pulse, can it be used without adopting the DaaS service? Can you that's a standalone, the Tech Pulse as a standalone product, or is it all encompassed as part of the HP DaaS?
Yeah, it's all encompassed as part of the HP DaaS.
Right.
It's a solution that we do not sell by itself.
Okay. So I suppose it's the value add part of one of the value add part of the DaaS model that the Tech Pulse offers.
Exactly. That's how I would reference that is that, it's the glue to device as a service.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Alan mentioned there that anyone sort of watching this today, if you are interested in that 90-day free of charge trial on the sort of Tech Pulse analytical management tool, then just get in touch with your Servium account manager or email me, and we can arrange that. Alan, can't we? So up to 500 licenses that we can do on a 90-day?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. You talk about again, another question anonymously about the support. What are sort of typical SLAs that the customer would encounter or get when they encounter issues?
Yeah, so there's, what we offer is part of our as a service model is next business day on-site service. Yeah. To really remedy whatever's happening, and the value that the Tech Pulse brings is that gives us the insight to ensure that we have the right products or the right replacements for that on-site service.
Okay. A question here from Russ about typical size of customer, because that's quite a valid one here, because we've got people attending today, sort of various sort of size businesses, sort of from mid-market, corporate, and so on. So, is there a typical size or entry level customer for the DaaS service, Alan?
Really, there isn't. We've done everything from small to medium business up through the global and corporate environments. It's really building a solution based on our individual customers' requirements, whether that's a small business that just wants to maintain their fleet in a more efficient way, or move it toward an operational expense to tie with the revenue, all the way up through, as I said, a global and corporate environment that just wants to bring, a holistic approach to their computing needs.
So on that sort of base, I know we've done a number of successful implementations, both in the UK and globally as well. But if a customer just wanted to implement that as part of their infrastructure, maybe on one site or maybe at a head office, something like that, does that apply with the HP DaaS model?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that occur with other customers, where they might try it at a headquarter level first to make sure it's the right fit for them, and then expand if they need to. We fully support that, and the needs of our customers. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, well, I think that's all the questions for now. Anyone else would like to chip in with a question? Because I'm going to then sort of wrap up as well. So I think that's it for now. So really, everyone, thank you very much for taking the time out today to attend. Hope you found that useful. I'm going to do a little poll at the end, which is just sort of 5 questions, just get some feedback. Just on today and the INOOT series. So yeah, thanks everyone for taking the time out. I'll just launch the poll, and hopefully everyone should be able to see that in real time. If you wouldn't mind taking the time out just to quickly answer the questions, and we'll use this information. It's all anonymous to basically sort of formulate the INOOT webinars for future, to make sure that we're getting the most, or you're getting the most out of them. So yeah, Alan, thanks very much for taking the time out today. Really appreciate that. It was good to on this cold day to get everyone together. So thank you very, very much. Like, if anyone has any further questions, then either get in touch with your account manager or drop an email to myself. So, don't be shy. If you're interested in the 90-day trial, again, just get in touch with your account manager, and then Servium in partnership with HP will arrange that 90-day trial. And the next webinar we've got in 2 weeks' time on Friday the 15th. Again, is all around a consumption service. It's very topical at the moment, very popular, but we've talked about desktop as a consumption service. The next one, again, is with HP Enterprise around their Green Lake proposition, which is their server storage networking model around building a private cloud on a consumption basis as well. So as we can see, there is a massive trend in the marketplace at the moment around the whole as a service model. So the next one in 2 weeks with HP around Green Lake. So hopefully be able to take time and attend that. Details and invites will be coming out shortly to that. I've made a recording of the session today, so if you want to share that with your colleagues, then by all means do so. I'll be sending links around to that by close of business today. So feel free to share that. And also, this and past INOOT webinars are all on our YouTube channel as well. So feel free to subscribe to that, where this will be uploaded in the not too distant future. So that's it. I think I'll wrap up. Thank you everyone for taking the time out today. Hopefully you found that useful. Thanks everyone for contributing to the poll. We'll use that information for future webinars. So thanks again. Have a great Friday and stay safe in this cold weather. Thanks everyone.